Welcome to the depths of the strange, otherworldly, unknown, paranormal, and much more, where we explore theories that defy logic, reason, and will leave you questioning reality itself. There are things in this world that defy explanation, unseen forces lurking in the shadows that we can't perceive with the human eye. Well, at least most of the time we can't. I've discussed different types of beings and entities in my previous videos, but in this video, we'll go over several types of terrifying entities that specifically haunt and latch on to people, not just places. They attach themselves to your energy, feeding off your fear, your emotions, your very soul. While I've been lucky enough not to feel any sort of unknown attachment to me, someone very close to me has. We'll begin with her true story. She will remain anonymous, so we'll just call her Sue. About 17 years ago, Sue and her kids moved into a big old farmhouse that had been restored in a small town in northeast Pennsylvania. The house was located at the end of a cul-de-sac, not very close to town. Sue started to experience several incidents in that house that to this day she has no explanation for. For the record, she swears that no one living in the house had anything to do with the following events. There were 2 bathrooms in the house. After moving in, she would come home, and the upstairs bathroom would be found with the door closed and the thermostat on full blast. In that same bathroom, she would find random tiny handprints on the mirror that were too small to belong to anyone in that house. One day, while cleaning that same bathroom, suddenly one of the globe lights above the sink just exploded and shattered everywhere. And to top it off, the downstairs bathroom door would frequently slam shut on its own, with not one person near it. Moving on to her room, she had a ceiling fan that would randomly spin around faster and faster on its own, then come to a dead stop. And in that same room, her daughter even mentioned seeing some sort of black being with hooves, standing on its hind legs. Now, typically, I would say something like that sounds like a demonic entity, but no one was ever harmed in any way. Sue would normally wear flip-flops in the house, and sometimes her son would hear the sound of flip-flops coming up the stairs, but when he looked, there was no one there. Sue's kids also mentioned that they would all lay around together in one of their rooms and watch all these weird orbs floating around the room. And lastly, the basement. The entrance to the basement was from outside of the house, and every time Sue would try to bring her dog along, her dog would get frightened and refuse to follow her. They lived in that house for about 5 years before moving to another house in a town close by. Sue was under the impression that the unexplained events would stop after leaving her old house, but they didn't. She would come home to an empty house and the blender would be turned on, or one of the kids' toys would turn on by itself. And if she didn't have enough paranormal activity in her old bathrooms, the bathroom door in her new house would be randomly locked, with no explanation once again. She has then moved to another house and, thankfully, hasn't experienced anything paranormal. The question is, were the houses haunted, or did something haunt them? What kind of haunting do you think this was? Let's go over the different types. Ghosts are the disembodied spirits of the dead who, for one reason or another, have not moved on. Some remain because of unfinished business, trauma, or attachment to a person or place. While some ghosts are harmless, others grow restless and seek out the living for attention or vengeance. How do they attach to people? They are drawn to strong emotions like grief or fear, and people who engage in seances, Ouija boards, or paranormal investigations may attract them as well by opening connections to the spirit world, which could allow a ghost to follow someone home from a haunted location. Here is a real-life example of a ghost latching on to someone. In 1897, Elva Zona Heaster of Greenbrier County, West Virginia, died under suspicious circumstances, and her husband, Erasmus Shue, claimed it was natural. Weeks later, Elva's ghost allegedly appeared to her mother, Mary Jane Heaster, revealing that Erasmus had strangled her. Disturbed, Mary Jane convinced authorities to exhume Elva's body, which confirmed a broken neck. With this evidence, Erasmus was convicted of murder, making this the only recorded case where a ghost's testimony, by latching on to her mother, helped solve a crime. I truly believe that spirits of loved ones temporarily attach themselves to us for a while until they are ready to transition to the next part of their journey in the afterlife. The word poltergeist means noisy ghost in German. Unlike traditional spirits, poltergeists don't just appear, they manifest through chaos. They slam doors, throw objects, start fires, and in extreme cases, physically attack people. How do they attach to people? Many believe poltergeists are not ghosts, but manifestations of a person's subconscious energy, often triggered by negative energy. They are most commonly linked to a specific person, rather than a location. They thrive on fear and attention. The more you react, the stronger they become. A real-life example is the Enfield poltergeist that occurred in England, 1977. In one of the most well-documented cases in history, the Hodgson family in Enfield, England, experienced violent disturbances that centered around 11-year-old Janet. Chairs moved, beds levitated, and voices spoke through Janet in a deep, unnatural tone. Skeptics say it was a hoax, and that the family staged it to get attention, but even police officers witnessed objects flying across the room. Paranormal experts believe the poltergeist latched onto Janet, using her as a vessel for its chaotic energy. The Hodgson family experienced this haunting for 2 years, until the poltergeist activity died down. It sounds like the poltergeist became weak once the family gave less attention to it. Now we move on to entities I've discussed before, shadow people. They are dark, humanoid figures, seen lurking in the corners of rooms, often moving unnaturally fast. Unlike ghosts, they are not always tied to a person's past, but seem to exist outside of time and space. One of the most infamous shadow figures is the Hat Man, a tall entity with a fedora, often associated with sleep paralysis and overwhelming dread. How do they attach to people? They often appear in moments when someone is emotionally or physically vulnerable, or when the brain is awake but not the body, right before falling into a deep sleep. Some believe they are interdimensional beings that observe rather than interact. Those who see them repeatedly report an increasing sense of fear and paranoia. Technically, there is no real-life example for this one, but there are thousands of reports of people who describe waking up to find the Hat Man standing in the doorway, watching. Some say he leans closer, while others claim he simply vanishes. A man named Tim Brown was one of the first to publicly share his story, leading to countless others stepping forward with eerily similar experiences. Many believe the Hat Man is more than just a hallucination. He's something ancient from a different world and deeply sinister. I have experienced sleep paralysis years ago as a teenager, and I can without a doubt say there is definitely a dark and disturbing presence close by, watching and getting closer. Demons are malevolent, non-human entities that exist to manipulate, deceive, and destroy. Unlike ghosts, demons were never human. They are ancient beings that thrive on suffering and possession. How do they attach to people? By engaging in occult rituals, Ouija boards, summoning practices, or being in a state of extreme vulnerability, such as depression, grief, or very physically ill. Demons often start small, whispers, nightmares, and paranoia before fully possessing a person. There are plenty of real-life examples for demonic hauntings, and so many movies they've made about true stories as well. One real-life case was the exorcism of Anneliese Michel in Germany, 1976. Anneliese Michel began displaying terrifying signs of possession, starting with seizures, then disturbing visions, followed by deep voices speaking through her, and then an extreme aversion to religious objects. She underwent 67 exorcisms before she passed away. Skeptics say it was mental illness, but those who witnessed it firsthand swear that she was fighting something truly evil. While I am not a religious person, I do believe there are non-human evil forces living among us that despise anything that humans consider to be good or holy. Unlike ghosts or demons, astral parasites are pure energy-based entities that latch onto people to drain their life force. They are often invisible, but can manifest as oppressive feelings, nightmares, and sudden exhaustion. How do they attach to people? Think of it like this. We are not our bodies. We are consciousness and energy, and so are they. These astral parasites target individuals during altered states of consciousness, like during a near-death experience, or when people practice out-of-body experiences, like astral projecting. A real-life example involves Robert Monroe, a well-known out-of-body explorer who created a hemisync guided meditation called the Gateway Tapes. He documented encounters with energy vampires during his astral journeys. He described these parasitic entities as interdimensional beings that attach themselves to individuals in altered states, feeding off their energy. Those affected often experienced physical and emotional fatigue upon returning to their bodies, suggesting that the energy vampires were siphoning off their vitality. Monroe believed these entities used the astral plane as a means to drain energy, leaving a lasting impact on the person's well-being. I have done my own research on astral projecting and altered states of consciousness since I am very curious about it, and there are many who have gone through these experiences that have witnessed various types of these entities. It's pretty disturbing to think of all the different types of beings that could actually latch on to someone and make their world living hells. Many believe these entities don't just stay attached to the same person. Sometimes, they find new people to latch on to. I believe there was a poltergeist attached to Sue for a while, but it moved on because it wasn't getting the attention and fear it wanted. I am glad to say nothing has ever latched on and haunted me, that I know of at least. So, just keep in mind that if you ever feel watched, hear whispers in the night, or sense a presence lingering too close, maybe, just maybe, something has already attached itself to you. That's it for this video. I'm interested to know your own theories and thoughts, so please do share them in the comments. I'm also open to video ideas, so feel free to let me know. If you enjoy my videos, then please like, comment, and subscribe for more. Thank you as always. And don't forget to keep questioning reality.